What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to Philly with John Marks on PHLY. As always, brought to you by BetParx. We're live on a Thursday morning, first day of May 2025, coming off a big Phillies win. Big program today, big show coming up. We're going to play the Philly Feud in Block B. So like 20 minutes from now, something like that. Tyler Zulli, our defending champion, our returning champion, takes on Rich Hoffman. You know him, you love him. He's all over the network here, the PHLY editor, the PHLY daily editor, which is a great, not a good, a great newsletter that comes to our inbox every morning. Just go to allphly.com. Rich lays out the entire day and night of Philly sports for you. It's like you're getting the old daily news where you opened up the back cover. Like, oh, man, the back cover, you open it up. It's the best thing ever. That's what it is. Delivered to your inbox, your email every single morning. So subscribe at allphly.com. Our category today, and if you didn't catch the first one where Tyler defeated Jamie Lynch, our category today is the top 10 Eagles draft picks since 1980 via ChatGPT. So it doesn't necessarily have to make sense. And in a lot of cases, it doesn't make sense. So that's coming up Block B, like 20 minutes from now. Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick's girlfriend, joins us coming up in about 10 minutes here as I secured an interview with her, and she will join us to talk about Bill and everything else. Obviously, I'm kidding about that. But yeah, so I'm going to save that conversation. Tyler and I were talking about it before the show, and I can't get enough of it. It's great. So maybe the Block C of the show, we'll talk a little bit more about it, but Violations Greg's going to be going to pop on tomorrow, so maybe we'll save that for him. Phillies win last night. Put one in the win column for your fighting Phils. All your chatters out there, all our 8 a.m. chatters, we appreciate you. Good morning to everybody out there. Phillies get a win last night, and it was a stress-free win. And there's nothing more that I like than watching a game where there's home runs being hit, there's scoring that's happening, and it's a stress. Last night was as stress-free of a game. They scored a couple of runs there off of Sanchez, but yeah, I was cruising. I was cruising into the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning as the Phils win. So Chris Sanchez was good enough. Looked healthy, good enough. I would expect next start he probably looks a little bit better, but got the win. And then they went to the low-level reliever guys, and they were perfect. Jose Ruiz, hello. Tanner Banks. Carlos Hernandez even nixed in a 1-2-3 inning. 6 strikeouts, 4 perfect innings. Kyle Schwarber went deep again, 2 games in a row. He's heating up. 9 home runs, 1 off the major league lead. And he just offensively, when he is hot, he carries the team, and he does it early. Did it last night, early lead. Did it 2 nights ago, early league. Every time he starts to get hot, you will see a lot of people on social media saying, hey, this Kyle Schwarber contract extension, it's going to cost the Phillies. And it is. It's going to cost not 7, 8 years or even 5 or 6 years, but it's going to cost you big money, and the Phillies will be more than happy to pay that. Hopefully. I can't imagine that Kyle Schwarber isn't back with the Phillies in the future. Because let's face it, when you're deciding, can we live without a player? Could you see your team without this player on their team? I can't see this team without Kyle Schwarber next year. I can't. What does his offense look like without Kyle Schwarber? He's your leader. He's your spokesman. He's the guy he's not the guy that stirs the drink like maybe Jimmy Rollins. But he plays the Ryan Howard role of being the most productive offensive player right now that they've had. And yeah, Bryce Harper, and Bryce is a little bit cold right now. But Schwarber, year after year, has been your power producer. And he's been amazing. So Kyle Schwarber again last night gets it done. Chris Sanchez, it was great to see him just start. I was worried that he wasn't even going to make the start. Makes the start, gives you 5 innings, looked healthy. Command was off a little bit. Whatever. That's fine. He looked good enough. He was getting some swings and misses with that changeup. So this is how the Phillies are going to win games. And it was nice to see an offensive semi-explosion in the last few games. But their starting pitching is going to carry them, and that is how they're going to win. Ranger Suarez set to return to the Phillies rotation this weekend. That's per Rob Thompson. He's going to start Sunday. Taijuan Walker in the series finale. Jesus Luzardo pitches Friday. Aaron Nola will go on Saturday, and then Suarez makes his 2025 debut on Sunday. All right, so Tyler asked a really interesting question when he came in here today. And he said, so are the Phillies starting to feel it and get into their groove and be like more of the team that we were hoping they were going to be last season? Or is this just a series against the lowly Nationals? And I thought about it for a good 3 seconds. And I said, this is just a series against the Nationals. Because I believe this Phillies team is a playoff team. Their starting pitching is going to carry them. When they get into hitting season and the weather's warm and they get hot and they play bad teams, they're going to hit bad teams. They're going to hit home runs against bad teams. The Nationals aren't the worst team in baseball, but they're not that far off from being the second or the third or the fourth worst team in baseball. So of the 17 wins the Phillies have this year, 9 of them have come against the Rockies, worst team in baseball by far, the Nationals, and the Marlins. So that means there's 8 other wins, and they were quality wins. They beat some quality teams, no doubt about it. Not trying to take anything away against the Phillies. But do I believe that the Phillies now are starting to get on a roll? And it's like, all right, are the Phillies starting to feel it? I just think this team is what it is. They're going to beat up on the bad teams. They're going to really beat up on the bad teams, and they're going to struggle against good pitching, against excellent pitching. They're going to struggle against the better teams. And guess what? That's a lot of baseball. When you face really good starting pitchers and your team is more or less, if we're not hitting home runs, we're not scoring a lot of runs, it's tough to win a lot of those games. It's tough to win more of those games than lose those games. But if you're just beating up on the teams that are inferior to you, which, by the way, are a lot of the teams, the Phillies are a good team. They're a playoff team. But if you're beating up on the bad teams, that's going to win you close to 90 games. And that's what the Phillies are going to do. With this starting rotation, they're going to win 90 games with their eyes closed on offense. Because the Punch and Judies, the tomato cans of Major League Baseball, the Phillies are going to dominate. This is a flawed team in the bullpen. This lineup isn't much different than what we saw last year and what fell apart in the National League Championship Series against the Diamondbacks. So I hate to say, you really got to see how they're playing come September and October, but that's really what it's going to come down to. Because based on what we've seen the last 2 years, no, I don't think that the Phillies are starting to get on a roll. We'll see what happens. They have some just looking ahead to who they're playing coming down in the next however many weeks. But, they're going to win some games, and then they're going to get cold. And they're going to go on a losing streak, and we're going to be pissed. And then they're going to face a bad team after that, and then they're going to do great, right? I think this team kind of is what it is right now. Which, you know what? Is perfectly fine. Might be a little bit annoying to watch, and we might be pulling our hair out at some point. But getting to the trade deadline, being as healthy as you can, being able to add to the trade deadline, and hopefully Dave Dombrowski does a better job of that this year. But ultimately, Arizona at home coming up this weekend, at Tampa Bay, at Cleveland, home against the Cardinals. That'll get you to mid-May. And then you're home against the Pirates. And then you have 4 games at Colorado, 3 games at Oakland. Not the toughest schedule in the world coming up. So they'll probably rack some wins, and they'll have a favorable record. And just like any other team has an opportunity to. With this schedule, how it's balanced now, any team can do the same thing the Phillies can. You're just not living and feasting off of playing the Marlins 25 times a year. So, I mean, I remain unchanged about the Phillies. I'm like, yeah, they're a playoff team. Outside of that, we'll see. We'll see. As this portion of the program brought to you by Glatt Hair Restoration, GlattHairMM.com, 610 610-980-4000. 610-980-4000. Tyler Zulli, PHLY Phillies, doing his post-game recap last night. Live show yesterday, video on demand today. Tyler, how you feeling, buddy?
Yeah, good morning. I think it's a good spot to be right now because you've done what you're supposed to do. And I said yesterday on the show where if they lose yesterday, especially with like the comedy of errors, 2 days ago, if they lose 2 days ago, especially with like the comedy of error type of game that it was, we would have been really, really frustrated. I even said on the show, like, I'm a pretty measured guy. I don't go hot takey. I would have come in with like fire in my hair because of the way they would have lost. But they won the game. Yeah. And then they win yesterday in a pretty convincing, comfortable fashion, as you brought up. So now they've won the series. And I would love a sweep. I think everybody would love a sweep because it doesn't justify getting swept by the Mets, but it balances it a little bit. The scales balance. And then you can say you've now won 5 in a row. You've won 2 series in a row. And listen, it's the Nationals. And I'm higher on the Nationals than most. I think that young core is starting to get better and better and better. They're not ready to compete just yet. But like the Nationals have a pretty simplistic formula. Their starting pitching's been pretty good. Their lineup, especially some of their young guys like James Wood and those guys have been good, and their bullpen's atrocious.
Yep.
And like that's been their formula, and that's how they've lived and died. And they've lost more games than they've won, I think, in part because their bullpen is so bad. But you've won the series now, and you have an opportunity to sweep the series tonight. If you do that, you sweep the series tonight. Again, I don't think it cancels out the Mets series because it's different gravity to those 2 series, but at least in the win-loss column, it does a little bit.
Yeah, like come September and October, the Mets sweeping the Phillies in April doesn't matter.
No.
None of it matters. That doesn't make you feel good now about where the team is necessarily, but like you had said, you take care of business against the teams that you're supposed to take care of business of. Like tonight, it's Taijuan Walker. That's not, like you worry if this is going to be the start that he gets blown up. But Brad Lord is going for Washington. What do you know about Brad Lord? Here's what I know about him. He's went 4 innings in his last 3 starts, and he's given up 2 runs, 2 runs, and 4 runs. And they get him the hell out of there.
Yeah, here's really what I know about him is he has been most of his career a reliever.
A reliever, right.
And they've asked him to start. They've stretched him a couple innings over his last couple starts. But you're right. He a turn through the lineup, 15 batters, whatever it might be, and then limit damage and get out. That works for a team with a good bullpen.
Not for this.
It doesn't work when you legitimately have the worst ERA in baseball. And John, it's not even. It's like the Phillies are second worst and they're 5.1-ish. The Nationals are over 7. So like that, a spot start guy, I don't want to call it a bullpen game because he is starting the game. It doesn't work that way when your bullpen is as bad as it is. Like the Phillies should win again today.
Right. And we'll have to check what the line is. We'll give the parlay of the day.
I bet you it's probably minus 200. Yeah.
And Walker, Taijuan Walker has been he's been good for what we were expecting from him this year. They've dumped out of him after 2 innings. I mean, they wisely are ready to pull the trigger to get him the hell out of the game in the 4th inning, which has actually worked out really well. I think Rob Thompson's done a really good job managing Taijuan Walker since spring training started because they've actually gotten productive starts out of him. But yeah, like this is where the offense needs to show up tonight. And it's interesting when Kruk was talking about Trey Turner the other night, when instead of taking the easy double play and letting the run score, he tried to tag second base and then get a force out at the plate, and he got no outs out of it because he didn't tag second base. Krucker had said, "You're into their bullpen," and it's so right. The Nationals' bullpen's so bad, they're not going to hold you. So then that's always kind of been the Phillies. Get the starting pitcher the hell out of the game, get the pitches up, get into the bullpen, and you're going to be good. So believe me, I'm still pro Philly. I'm still positive Phillies, but I guess it's just more of a measured take or a measured expectation. And hopefully they change the way I think as we roll into the second half of the season. And I think, you know what? Like, yeah, I can see this team winning a World Series.
So let me ask you, because you talk about getting into their bullpen and Kruk was right. Do you know how many runs in 5 games the Phillies have scored against the Nationals bullpen this year?
5 games. How many runs have they scored? So if I was to say 5 runs a game, that'd be 25. That seems like a lot. So I'm going to say 23.
You're almost dead on. It's 22. and 21 of them are earned. So it was 17 and 16 in the first series. They've scored 5 against them in the first 2 games. Only one last night, John. Just the one.
Good
which,
job.
yeah, they're trending in the right direction. But yeah, it's 22 runs in 5 games against the Nationals bullpen. I mean, that, like, they've been bad against everybody, but they've been really bad against the Phillies.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Suarez coming back, which is good. Taijuan Walker, I guess, goes to the pen unless they want to kind of employ a 6-man rotation or some semblance of that. Maybe because Suarez has been going. It's not like he's been throwing 2 or 3 innings in these rehab starts. He's going 5 innings.
Yeah.
So Tyler, we talked about kind of piggybacking Taijuan and Ruiz, Suarez, the start. That's not going to happen. He's going to make the start. And he's probably going to go 5 innings or so, or at least that's going to be the expectation of him coming in. So I like the starting rotation is going to get better. Ranger Suarez is a good pitcher. Just hope he's able to stay healthy. But with that being said, the bullpen's still the bullpen. So outside of some younger arms that they have in AAA, and then you're going to have to make a roster move. Maybe this whole reasoning of how they've handled Taijuan Walker is they're going to look to pull the trigger right now. Because, all right, so I never believe in getting rid of starting pitching depth because you know what happens if you don't have it.
Agree. Look at the Dodgers. They've put 9 guys together, and half of the staff is injured again.
But they may feel decent about, because if they were able to make this happen with Taijuan Walker going 2 innings or 4 innings and 5 innings, you tell me they can't do that with an arm in AAA? Abel has looked good, not great, but he's looked good. There's some other guys down there. I'll be curious to see what they do, because Taijuan Walker being the long man, to me, is a worthless arm in the bullpen. I need guys that can come in and pitch. That means you're bringing up somebody from AAA like a Lazar or whoever else. I'd rather have them on the roster than a Taijuan Walker that's waiting in case something happens to one of these starters. But then if you get rid of him, you're risking. That's at least a guy you know can step in and do it. So yeah, I'll be curious to see, Tyler, how they handle it.
It's a slippery slope conversation, because you're right. Giving up starting pitching depth is difficult, and I also don't believe that Taijuan Walker is going to be as effective as he's been. I mean, he's been excellent this year so far. Like, I know he labored in the game against the Cubs, and you're right, they got him out quickly, but 2.78 ERA over his first 5 starts, and it's limited innings pitched, but he's been way better than we could have expected. So you may be right. There may be a team who's starting pitching starved that it's time to make a move. But my bigger question is, if they don't, and they do move Walker to the bullpen, who's the odd man out? Because obviously it's not Alvarado, it's not Strahm, it's not Kerkering. Those 3 guys definitively not going anywhere. They gave Joe Ross $4 million this year. I don't think they're going to want to eat $4 million right away. At least, and then, whatever kind of move they can make. So to me, it comes down to, it's probably Carlos Hernandez, right? He's the easiest to get off of. But even though he's not pitched well, I don't know if they want to move a power arm that can come out of the bullpen and be a reliever, compared to, as you were talking about with Taijuan Walker, as a flex guy, a swing gate type of guy. It'll be an interesting decision that they have to make on Sunday.
Yeah, I think obviously they'd like to give Hernandez some more time here.
Right.
Working with their staff just to see, like, hey, who knows if it can happen, but he does have the stuff. Can you get him through to AAA if you designate him, you send him down? I don't know. I mean, based on what I've seen, probably you can get him through, but then again, who the hell knows?
Yeah, I mean, he's out of options. That's why the Phillies were able to get him, because the Royals had to DFA him. So I would be interested to see what the move ends up being.
All right, we're going to come back and play the Philly feud, and I'm quite happy that I look a little bit better than I did this morning. I looked in the mirror when I first got in here, and the friggin' raccoon eyes that I had, I was like, Jesus. I don't wear makeup or anything. Maybe I should start wearing makeup. You know what happened? My wife, who does this, I won't say on a regular basis, but maybe once a month or so, she heard something. So she woke me up. It was like 2 o'clock. She woke up, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "No, I was sleeping. I didn't hear it." So now, we have baby monitors going. I still have a monitor on my 7-year-old. We still have a camera in her room. And So you hear that? I'm like, no, I didn't hear anything. So now I'm patrolling the house. I have have my phone with me with the flashlight.
Baseball bat in hand, just in case.
No baseball bat because we have cameras and an alarm and the doors are locked. So you hear that? So like I go downstairs and look around. I'm like, yeah, like well, check the kids' room. I already checked on the kids. The kids are fine. All right. Well, did you? So now it's like I'm clearing the house, like I'm the FBI or a U.S. Marshal.
You're going room to room. Clear.
I did. I was in the basement. I cleared the basement. I was in storage. I'm in there with my phone flashlight. I'm like, all right, clear. Go back upstairs. I'm like, honey, it's okay. We're good. Yeah. So like, fortunately, I don't know about you, Tyler. I'm the type of guy that I can pretty much go right back to bed regardless.
Without question.
Like I'm just like, and I'm snoring a minute later. My wife can't. So then she's up. But still, I was up for a good 45 minutes through the whole thing. But the house was clear. Everything was good. I have maybe I should get a firearm in case this happens again, that I can really be official with it. All right. We had a lot of fun with this.
Get your headset.
Yes.
Clear.
So this is the second episode of the Philly feud. It was Jamie Lynch against Tyler Zulli. And this was the pilot. With TV shows, how you have to have the pilot episode and then the executives look at it and say, oh, okay, like, yeah, we're going to sign you to a season of 10 episodes. Well, luckily, we don't have to get that approved to do anything. We do our own approval process. And it was approved for a second episode. The Philly feud. Our returning champion, Tyler Zulli, takes on Rich Hoffman. That's coming up right after this. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be fun. It's an Eagles draft question. It's going to be fun. Philly with John Marks returns right after this. Don't go anywhere. Oh, man, we got to talk about Ashley. And by the way, like I'm so totally in because my wife and I were going over this. It's like, all right, so what do we need? Dining room table. Check. With chairs. Kids need definitely new dressers. My youngest daughter now needs a mattress. So we transitioned from she's in the toddler bed. Now she needs like a big girl mattress. Check. It's okay. This is what you do. The low prices right now at Ashley are blooming. Spring into savings. Save up to 50% off living rooms, bedrooms, and dining rooms, and have it all delivered for free. And this is where I come in. Long-term, no-interest financing. Save on top brand mattresses and get free delivery, setup, and removal. But don't wait. Spring into savings now at Ashley, South Jersey, and Philadelphia. Financing with approved credit. Minimum purchase required. Some exclusions may apply. See store for complete details. Hurry to Ashley. Visit ashleyfurniture.com for more information. That's ashleyfurniture.com to check out everything that they do. Hoo-ah. There we go. All right. How cool was this? This is our first time talking about. Hold on. I gotta pull it up here. So I am a big fan of Big Brother and Big Sister, right? And I grew up as an only child, and some kids grow up and they don't have father figures. They don't have people in their lives that they could really use and they need, right? And that's what's so awesome about Big Brother and Big Sister. So the big news we have to share here for PHLY and ALLCITY, we're teaming up with Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America for an exciting 3-year partnership. And it's not about sports, not just about sports. It's about community. Together, we're combining Big Brothers, Big Sisters, incredible youth mentoring programs with the passion and power of ALLCITY's local sports coverage to create something truly meaningful. Partnership kicked off during our NFL draft coverage. It does not stop there. Year-round support for Big Brothers and Big Sisters through fundraising, content, events, and even opportunities for our team, and maybe even some of you out there that's watching, to get directly involved. We're excited to support youth mentorship that really makes a difference. You can learn more and see how to get involved at bbbs.org/ALLCITY. So Big Brother, Big Sister, bbbs.org/ALLCITY. Hoo-ah. There you go. We're back. That's so cool that we're doing that. Really, 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 really proud to say that ALLCITY is involved in Big Brother and Big Sister. It's amazing. PAL, and I did a couple of the Police Athletic League in Philadelphia. I did the basketball game and the softball game a couple times. Or have you done the softball game, Tyler Zulli, for PAL?
Not the softball game, but we did. We played in PAL leagues growing up. A lot of summer outdoor.
You did?
Oh yeah, yeah. There was some in the Northeast, and so we played. I think I only played the one summer, but I had a couple buddies that played pretty much every year.
All right. Well, you're in the PAL game this year.
Sure, let's do it.
You got to be in the PAL game.
I don't know if my knees will hold up, but I'm in.
You'll be fine. But it does get very competitive with some of them out there. I remember the last year I played, I think our buddy Rob Motti might have gotten a concussion with a collision at first base. The ball was thrown low, and he went down to get it, and the runner ran into his head, if I remember that correctly.
I've had that not like get run into my head before,
Yeah.
But playing a lot of first over the years, like you just see a big guy coming barreling down at you, you're like, oh, this is going to hurt. Please catch the ball.
Yep.
Like that's your first thought is catch the ball. Second thought is this is going to hurt.
Yep. Without a doubt. All right. We talked about it. Episode number 2 of the Philly Feud. The guys got in here yesterday. Rich Hoffman Jr. taking on the champ, Tyler Zulli. Here it is. What's up? Welcome to the Philly Feud. I'm your host, John Marks, and boy, do we have a good one today. We have a returning champion from the PHLY Philly show and the executive producer of Philly with John Marks. Tyler Zulli is here this morning. Tyler.
Good morning, John. Yeah, it feels nice to be a winner.
What's up, man?
Long walks on the beach.
Long walks on the beach.
That's accurate, 100%. I'm happy to be on.
Horseback riding. Top 10 answers are on the board. Tyler and Jamie are going to go back and forth on the answers. The first contestant who gets 3 incorrect answers or strikes is the loser. In the event that all the answers are given, the player with the most correct answers will win it. If a tie happens, a tie-breaking question is what we have for you. All right, here is the question we asked ChatGPT, and again, the top 10 answers are on the board. Name the best Philadelphia Eagles draft picks after 1980. So we took the Chuck Bednareks and the rest of the Stone Age out of the equation. And this is from 1980 until current day, ChatGPT, the best Philadelphia Eagles draft picks. Now, I'm going to give you the number one answer because it's kind of a trick. Because Reggie White is considered the number one answer according to ChatGPT.
Oh, wow.
He was a supplemental draft pick back in 1984 when the USFL folded. So we're not going to include that. So there are actually only 9 answers on the board. And prior to the show, we did a coin flip. Rich Hoffman won the flip. And Rich, are you going to play? Are you going to pass or play?
I'm going to play.
Okay, he's going to play. All right. Jamie Lynch last week said that he lost because he felt like he played. I don't know why, but all right. So let's do it. Name the best Philadelphia draft pick since 1980.
Best Philadelphia Eagles draft.
Yes, Philadelphia Eagles draft.
I got to think there are probably 2 at the top. So I'm going to go safe here, and I'm going to say Brian Dawkins is one of them.
Brian Dawkins. Survey says, of course, Brian Dawkins. He is number 2 on the list, or number 1 on the list. So we'll just say number 2. Reggie White's number 1. 9-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro, Hall of Famer. Obvious answer, good answer by Rich Hoffman.
And a second-round pick to boot, too.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, Tyler, we're going to go to you.
All right, I'll go with a more higher up pick in the draft, and some still say the best quarterback in Eagles history. I will go with Donovan McNabb.
Donovan McNabb. I don't like this answer because he would not make my top 10. Donovan McNabb, survey says. Yes, number 4 on the list, Donovan McNabb. So it doesn't have this listed as a criteria because the criteria is based on impact, talent, and legacy. These players either became stars or had a major influence on the team.
So does their draft spot matter?
In this, it doesn't. If I was doing it with the draft spot, I mean, not that Donovan McNabb's not a good player and like blah, 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 but he's a second overall pick. And the fact that Jalen Hurts came in here and has won a Super Bowl eliminates Donovan McNabb, at least from my list. But it does not eliminate him from this list.
All right.
Number 4 on the list. We will go to you, Rich Hoffman.
Well, I think the other one I was thinking of, and I'm hoping this is number 3, is a 6th round pick, Jason Kelsey.
Jason Kelsey, 2011, round 6, pick number 191. Survey says number 3. Rich, you sniffed it out. So we have Brian Dawkins, Jason Kelsey, Donovan McNabb. You nailed the first 3.
All right.
Yeah,
Good job,
not bad.
Tyler. It's going to you. Nobody has strikes yet. Again,
Well-
ChatGPT was asked the best Eagles draft picks since 1980.
Well, you mentioned his name. Second round pick, has appeared in 2 Super Bowls, won a Super Bowl MVP, has claimed to maybe being an MVP in a losing effort. He was that good against the Chiefs. I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. You would have to think. I mean, you could make the argument Jalen Hurts should be number 1 on the list. Survey says Jalen Hurts isn't on the list. Are you kidding me?
Really?
Wow.
Does not make the top 10?
Surprising.
Stupid. Not surprising. Stupid.
Because like the last time we did this, they clearly went with a recency bias, right? And that to me has he has merit to be on the list. At, maybe not top 3, but talking about a guy who's won a Super Bowl, been to 2, outplayed Pat Mahomes maybe in both.
Not maybe.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised he's not on the list.
Have you considered that ChatGPT is not up to date on the last Super Bowl?
It's certainly possible.
You would think ChatGPT would be up to date to the very second, but maybe hasn't played long enough for the team. I don't know.
That's fair.
The ChatGPT is stupid sometimes.
Okay.
All right, so that's 1 strike for Tyler. Rich, you have no strikes.
I know.
And there are a lot of good answers still on the board.
Yeah.
When you look at this list, you know what you realize? Eagles have done a good job
Yeah, they've done a
drafting
good
players,
job.
man.
Yeah.
They have. All right, what is your answer?
So there are a few ways I can go with this, but I'm going to go with another current Eagle, and I'm going to say 2013 first round pick, Lane Johnson.
Good pick.
Lane Johnson. I think he should actually be higher on this list
Yeah.
because the survey says, yes, Lane Johnson's number 6 on this list. All right,
Very good pick.
Donovan does not belong ahead of, he doesn't belong ahead of Jalen Hurts. Certainly doesn't belong ahead of Lane Johnson.
Johnson's a future Hall
Hall of Famer. Yeah, Donovan McNabb's not a Hall of Famer. And he's going to try to whine his way into the
Still
Hall of Fame.
underrated, honestly. We just
consistent about his work for so long.
we just take for granted in Philadelphia that like the 2 tackles have been pretty good for like
Ever.
30 years now, since maybe a couple guys who might also be on this list. So I won't say that, even though I probably just put that in Tyler's head. But yeah, I mean, unbelievable, Lane Johnson.
And you think about, remember that draft, everybody thought Deion Jordan was going to be the pick. And it's never sexy to take an offensive tackle when you have that high pick. You want a skill
Especially with
guy.
your first pick as a new head coach.
Right.
It was Chip Kelly's first pick.
Wow, man. What a pick. It's unbelievable.
His first 2 picks were great. After that, it was a disaster.
Well, listen, there's some definitely there are some good answers so far. Tyler Zulu, you have 1 strike.
All right. I'm going to go to what I believe still to be one of the best Eagles drafts of my lifetime. And I believe it was 2002, where the Eagles got a bunch of really, really good players. Now, John, you can correct me on the year if I'm wrong, but I'm going to go to the 3rd round of that draft where the Eagles selected Brian Westbrook.
Good one.
Brian Westbrook from Villanova. We knew about him here in Philadelphia because we knew how good of a player they had over on the main line. Andy Reid loved him. Brian Westbrook, one of my favorite Eagles of all time.
Oh, this is trending to know.
A steal in the 3rd round. Survey says Brian Westbrook not on the list.
Oh,
wow.
Tyler.
Wow.
Man, I thought that was a good pick, too.
My
All right,
goodness.
So here's what we have. Reggie White, supplemental draft, number 1. Brian Dawkins, number 2. Jason Kelsey, number 3. Donovan, 4. Lane Johnson, 6. Rich, we're going to go to you. No strikes. You've been awesome so far. Tyler Zuli,
Yeah, not great.
defending
Not
champion,
in tune with the chat.
has went to his head, I believe. What is your answer?
I am going to go with a guy who used to sit in this room about a year and a half ago, and that is Fletcher Cox.
Fletcher Cox, 2012 first-round draft pick. Survey says, yes, Fletcher Cox, number 5 on the list.
Rich
so
is
we've
killing
knocked
it.
out the top 6. Rich Hoffman Jr. might be the Ken Jennings,
Yeah,
not
he's
you,
killing
Zuli.
it.
All right, so listen. This is the game.
It is.
You have 2 strikes.
This is
Tyler.
the game the rest of the way.
It is. Your back is against the
It
wall.
really is.
In our first episode, Rich, both guys, Jamie and Tyler, were up against it where if they got a wrong answer, the game was over. And they both nailed a couple of answers.
Oh, wow.
So, Tyler,
Yes.
We have number 7, number 8, number 9, and number 10 on the board right now.
All right. If this guy is not on the list, me and ChatGPT are not going to be friends. To me, probably the most dynamic player at his position of my lifetime with the Eagles up until this past year, because Saquon Barkley usurped him in that regard. I am going to go with Shady LaShawn McCoy.
LaShawn McCoy, the all-time leading rusher in Eagles history. Round number 2, 2009, pick number 53. Survey says yes.
All right.
There we go.
Live to fight another day.
Number 7. We only have 3 answers left on the board. You guys have been very good. In particular, you, Rich. What is your answer?
I am going to say, I don't remember what, I think it was the first round. I don't remember the year exactly. I am going to guess Trey Thomas as my next guy.
Trey Thomas. Big Trey. Had him on Philly with John Marks many times. Yeah. I'm a big fan. Trey Thomas. Survey says. First strike for Rich Hoffman. Yeah. First strike. All right. Listen, Tyler. This is for the game.
Yeah, I don't feel good about this. Because I'll be honest with you, and like there's a blind spot in the 80s of did a guy get drafted or not by the Eagles, right? Like there's a bunch of guys, and I'm like, oh yeah, great players, right? Did the Eagles draft them? So, with that being said, I am gonna go with there's a couple guys from those 90s.
3 seconds.
All right, I'm just gonna take a guess. I am gonna go with Seth Joyner.
Seth Joyner. Buddy Ryan had a real eye for defensive talent late in those drafts. This is for the game. Seth Joyner. Survey says no, he's not there. Rich Hoffman wins. Rich Hoffman wins the Philly feud. We have a new champion.
Feels great. Wow.
Congratulations, Rich.
Well done,
Congratulations. Rich. All right, so this is a recency bias list for
sure.
It is. Yeah, because, I mean, these are good answers for sure. Seth Joyner's a borderline Hall of Famer and was on a great defense. And I would have to Google real fast to see what round he was. Clyde, I think he would have been undrafted in today's NFL draft. I know Clyde Simmons, a couple of those Buddy Ryan picks were
super late.
So
super late when they went 12 rounds.
Are any of those guys on this list?
No.
So like no Eric Allen, no
Eric
Simmons.
Allen was the 2nd round draft pick. No Clyde Simmons.
Wow.
He was an 8th round pick. Wow. He would not have been drafted in the current format. I think Clyde Simmons was an 11th round pick.
Yeah, he'd been an unrestricted free agent.
Yep. All right. So now the game's over. Now you can just kind of go back and forth. I'll give you some hints here.
Does Brandon Graham make it?
That's the one I'm curious because did ChatGPT, did it, BG doesn't have maybe the all pros that some of these teams have, but, he made
He's Mr. Eagle.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And 2 Super Bowls. So did he make it?
He did.
Yeah.
Number 9, Brandon Graham.
As he should.
Yeah, no, I feel very happy with him making.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's happy that ChatGPT included him in the top 10. All right, there's a wide receiver and there's an offensive lineman left. Number 8, number 10.
Is Jordan Mailata the offensive lineman?
It's a hell of a pull.
Because he's 7th round, right?
Well, that goes to the where were you drafted makes it a better draft pick. The fact that they took a guy that didn't even know what a football looked like until he came over here. Yeah. He did, number 10.
Okay, that makes sense.
7th round draft pick has turned himself into a Pro Bowl level player.
Wide receiver.
I
think I have an idea who it might be, but I'll let you go because I guess the last one.
Deshaun would be my guess.
That was my guess.
Deshaun Jackson is number 8 on the list.
Okay.
Yep. 3-time Pro Bowler. Huge impact. I remember watching him at training camp and just being like, wow, this guy's better than anybody I've seen in the Eagles wide receiver in a long time. He catches everything. He can track the ball. He just had a real knack for everything. He was great.
I think none of these players are bad players. They're all excellent players. I do think there's a recency bias to ChatGPT.
Who's the oldest one? McNabb, probably.
Yeah, McNabb. Oh, I guess Dawkins, right?
Dawkins was before McNabb. Yeah. Dawkins was 96.
Yeah.
But you gave the prompt since 80, and it didn't give you anybody in the first 16 years until Dawkins.
Well, I mean, if you look at the Eagles, who would you even pick? I mean, Seth, Clyde, those type of players. But other than that, the Eagles sucked at drafting for a long time. They really, really did.
Yeah,
it's terrible. Randall in the 2nd round should be considered.
Sure.
Not going to put him over Donovan, but he should be considered. So I guess he was a really, really good job. I mean, All right, Empire Today, flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. So if you're thinking about like, well, let me go to this place, hang on. Empire Today is bringing the showroom to your home. What's more convenient? Going somewhere and not knowing what the flooring's going to look like next to your furniture, the paint on your wall makes such a difference on what your flooring or your carpeting could look like, right? Empire Today is bringing the showroom to you, so you pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space. How does it look with your furniture? How does it look in your home? And they're taking precise measurements and having all the questions answered, so there's no surprises. Again, it's all they do. You go to one of the big box stores, and they're doing everything. And do they really have flooring experts? That's all Empire Today does. That's all they do. So you can get clear upfront and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. And again, they come to your home for a free in-home estimate. Schedule one today because some things are just better at home. And PHLY listeners, how about $350 off? That's right. Just use promo code PHLY. That's right. $350 discount. Code PHLY. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/PHLY for full details. EmpireToday.com/PHLY. Hoo-ah. All right. We're going to have our BetParx Parlay of the day coming up here in a second. But how about we live bet on some Philadelphia baseball? What about golf, pro hoops, hockey playoffs? That's right, Philadelphia baseball. They've won 4 straight games. And tonight, our buddy, our old pal, Taijuan Walker, pitching against Washington. How about live betting? It's just better on the BetParx app. You can bet individual player performances in baseball, like player hits, home runs, RBI strikeouts, and much more. And the BetParx online sportsbook and online casino app has you covered. Whether it's Philadelphia baseball or your favorite pro baseball teams, there's always another way to win on the BetParx sportsbook and online casino app. It's the only app I would ever use and recommend. How about live dealer, blackjack, roulette, craps, poker, hot online slots as well. And new users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. BetParx.com. Download the app right now and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. You must be 21 and in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParx. You love to play. You play to win. You bet BetParx. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Hoo-ah. We're back. Before our parlay of the day, Tyler, you went down in a listen. It was Rich was very good coming in.
He was excellent.
Here.
I expected a good game from him. Rich is a well-versed, smart guy, and he pulled it out. It was a good win for him.
He sure did. So, but anyway, I'm sure you'll be playing in the game again soon. But Rich Hoffman will defend his championship or his title at some point in the near future. All right. Well, we were just talking about him. It's time for our BetParx Parlay of the day. Hoo-ah. All right. So we're actually in the negative for the first. I think this is the first time or the second time. But we're in the negative, Tyler. We're minus 33. We're 0 for 2, minus 23, excuse me. We were 0 for 2 last night. I had the Lakers on the money line because I said, if they win, then I win my leg of the parlay. If they lose, I'm happy because they lost, because they're eliminated from the playoffs. And they got eliminated from the playoffs last night. I guess I should have seen that coming. But we have NBA, we have Major League Baseball. What is going to be your leg? We need it.
Yeah, I mean,
we need it.
At this point, I probably have a better chance of just like throwing a dart and seeing if something sticks, because I've been just dreadful. But I'm going to go to the Cubs and Pirates game today. Now, this one has a little bit of a threat of rain in Pittsburgh, so we'll see what happens if it does actually get off the ground, or if starting pitchers have problems. But the Pirates strike out at about the 7th most rate this year, at about 9 per game. Colin Ray for the Cubs has been really, really good so far this year. They don't let kind of another guy they don't let go like too deep in games. Doesn't strike out a ton of hitters, but he's been really good. He's changed his arm slot, so I think he's gotten much better. He's getting more ride on his fastball. But I am going to take kind of a light line today. I'm going to take his over strikeouts. I could get it at 4.5, but I'm going to be safe and get it at 3.5. We really need a win. So I'm going to take the over 3.5 strikeouts for Colin Ray at minus 220 The over 4.5 is plus 105. It's enticing to take the odds, but I don't know. I just feel like that extra one's going to he'll end up with 4. And so I'm going to take the over 3.5 at minus 220 and just hope that we could get ourselves a victory.
All right. Over 2.5 at. All right. So I'm going to have to compute this later. It's like, where is that on the.
Yeah, so it's in the game itself. You can go to pitcher props.
Pitcher props.
For Cubs and Pirates.
So it's plus 4.5 over strikeouts. Okay, got it.
Over 3.5.
Over 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5.
Minus 220. Got it. All right. I was toggling between. Last night I said I should take the Phillies, but I'm going to take the Lakers. That was stupid, so I should have taken the Phillies. Now, am I a sucker and do I take the Phillies today on the money line, or do I take the over in the game? We mentioned the Punch and Judy that's going for the Nationals today. And we know Taijuan Walker is going for the Nationals. Tyler, should I do a combination of Phillies money line and over?
Ooh,
what do you think?
They do allow you to do that. It's you don't even have to do the math yourself. They have a button for it.
All right, let me see. I got to go into it right now. Now we're minus 23. So let me see. So we do Phillies. So I'm gonna go.
Yeah. So if you go to the game combos, you can take the winner and the over run line.
All right, here we go.
Which is 9.5.
So a $100 bet would give us 316. So do we want to bet 50?
I think we do 50. We're already in the hole. We don't want to lose too much.
No, I agree. All right, 50 will win us 163. All right, there you go. All right, we're doing it. There you go. That's our BetParx parlay of the day. Last night in Pittsburgh, and we're going to play the video, but we just want to let people that it's like, it's kind of difficult to watch, but a fan fell out of the stands it was right in right field by where the Roberto Clemente portion of right field is. And you'll see in the video, there was just a guy that's behind home plate, like towards third base, I think, is just taking a video, not expecting someone to fall 25 feet from the stands. But that's what happened. So it actually caught it. So here's how it looked last night at PNC Park. And it was, again, great, like not a super duper graphic image, but definitely disturbing in what you're going to watch. So punch this up there so you can see it. And there he goes. Holy cow, man. Jeez. 25-foot drop. The last thing that I saw, and I don't think it was updated this morning, was he was in critical condition. That can mean a lot of different things.
Yeah, I mean, he flipped like 3 times on the way down. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I guess it's all about where you land.
How did that... I think you just question how did that happen, right? You don't want to speculate. You don't want to make assumptions.
Was there alcohol involved? Did he jump? Was he in the first row and was just kind of fooling around? And I mean, who the hell knows?
Crazy, man.
Jesus God. That's unbelievable. So that happened last night in Pittsburgh. The first mock draft of 2026 that I saw came out recently. And so when is too soon for you for a mock draft there, Tyler Zulli?
I don't need one until... I think it depends. If your team's good, I don't need one until the end of the season. If your team's bad, I'm looking at it at give me December.
Oh, no, I like a mock draft the day after the Monday after the draft. Give me the 2026 way too early mock draft. I can't get enough of it. Which Stadium did it. The way too early 2026 mock draft. The number one, and Tyler's got it up there. The number one player, at least in this draft, is Arch Manning, quarterback from Texas, who, by the way, I would say is not likely to come out.
Yeah, I don't think he ends up declaring this year.
So Lance Zierlein, I don't know if he does it. I think he's still NFL, works for the NFL, NFL.com. He does radio in Houston. I responded to one of his tweets, and he responded back that they did the same thing with Peyton Manning, that the Manning family, and even though he's not a son of Eli or Peyton, he's Cooper Manning's son, still, this is very much a Manning family thing, that they want to make sure that he is set up for the long haul of an NFL career, and they value a lot of starts in college. Peyton Manning went back for his senior year. A lot of people said that was because the Jets had an opportunity to draft him. It's kind of disputed. I would have to say that there has to be something to it, but he went back for his senior season. Eli Manning orchestrated, said, I'm not going to play for you, San Diego Chargers. You're a bad organization. You're going to have to trade me. He went to the Giants. So the thought is Arch Manning hasn't had a lot of college experience, and he's not going to come out after 1 year. Now, what my response to that was, well, what if it's a good organization that because of injury had a bad year and they lucked out with the number 1 overall pick and he looked good in college? Like, there's something to getting that college experience. But then unless you're going to strong arm a bad team that's drafting you, then like you got to go to a bad team. So if there's a good team that's there, do you say, okay, you know what? No, we really like this team. Like, for example, the Raiders aren't thought to be a good organization at all. However, they just recently, they had a very successful billionaire that became a part owner and has added a lot of cash to the franchise. And Tom Brady essentially is running things there now. And if you trust Tom Brady and you think he knows what he's doing, would you be okay with saying, you know what, Arch, I feel good about you going to the Raiders because Tom Brady's not going to let us down?
Well, it's interesting, too, because I don't know how they came up with their draft order, but I mean, I could see the Jets being a bad team this year, but the Raiders brought in Geno Smith. They used their first-round pick on Ashton Genty. They have some skill position
Pete Carroll's
players.
not a guy that's losing.
This is not a
14 games.
They're not a good team. Don't get me wrong. I still think they're not ready to like, especially in the AFC West, which could be a really, really good division.
They win 8 games.
But right, I think somewhere between like 6 and 9 is not outside that realm, and they're not picking. I just don't see a way in which the Raiders pick second this year. And then the Rams, who they have picking third and trading up with the Falcons, the Rams should be decent. I know they lose Cooper Kupp, but like they should be decent enough. I'm not so sure the Rams are going to be in contention to move all the way up to the 3rd overall pick. I think this is just a guy, a person doing a mock draft and saying, well, 5 quarterbacks in the top 10, because if you saw it too, it was Kate Klubnik, it was Garrett Nussmeier, it was Lenora Sellers down lower in the list, and then Drew Aller was there too. Like, that's 5 quarterbacks in the top 10.
Yeah, which you're always gonna. I mean, Drew Aller being number 2. Like, God bless you if you want to draft him.
Aller's going to go in the top 15.
He certainly is. No, like he's got the tools. He will not be a good NFL quarterback.
I'm not convinced just yet of him as an NFL quarterback. I would like to see another year of, because I saw big moments from him, and I saw him play really, really poorly at times. And I think he's consistent. I'm still waiting to see like what the NFL, because he's got the NFL prototype. He's big body,
oh, for sure,
good arm.
Oh, yeah.
That's the type of quarterback teams want. I'm curious to see, and I think the one thing he's done that's he's gotten much better at last year, his maneuverability within the pocket, because he can move a little bit, extend plays and makes some plays with his legs, but his maneuverability within the pocket got much better last year than it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he looked good for Penn State last year. Don't get me wrong. Talking about a college quarterback, just because the level of quarterbacks that come through Penn State aren't necessarily top 5 type picks. Will Levis was there before he transferred, and he's got all the prototypical NFL skill as well. He's got a 10-cent head, and I said the same thing about him. He will never be a good NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I think that with Penn State quarterbacks, there's a difference between, like, the best quarterback at Penn State statistically over the last decade has been Trace McSorley. Trace McSorley was never going to be an NFL quarterback. Drew Aller has actually been statistically lesser than what McSorley did, but Aller has much higher upside as an NFL quarterback.
All right, top five Penn State quarterbacks in the last 20 years.
Last 20 years. So that takes us back to 2005. I think you're probably going Michael Robinson 1.
Correct.
I would go Trace McSorley 2. I would go Darryl Clark 3. I would go Drew Aller 4. And then
you don't want to put Hackenberg in there? I know you don't want to put Hackenberg.
Not really, but he might be, because your other option. No, sorry. Matt McGloin will be 5.
Yeah,
we'll go Matt
McGloin was better than Hack.
So I would go Robinson, McSorley, Clark, Aller, McGloin.
By the way, slide on over to allphly.com to watch the rest of the program because we're officially in overtime. Yeah, you're and I'm not a Penn State guy, but I watch Penn State football religiously every year, and it's essentially the same list I would give. Darryl, but I asked that question because they all have the same thing in common. You can win in college. That was a very, very good Penn State team.
Sure.
Michael Robinson was an excellent college quarterback. He made the move to fullback because he wanted to have an NFL career. He was never going to be an NFL quarterback. And it's not one of these Lamar Jackson things where you get this old school football guy that's like, oh yeah, the black quarterback, he needs to be a wide receiver. No, Michael Robinson just didn't have the arm or the natural skill set to be. And he actually had a good NFL career, Michael Robinson, all things being considered.
Yeah, sure did. Super Bowl winner, too, with the Seahawks, right?
Hell yeah. Darryl Clark was good. He was definitely good. So, listen, I'll be curious to see if he takes that next step this year.
Listen, Penn State's not the school you turn to and you go, let me get an NFL-type quarterback. I mean, the last legitimate NFL starting quarterback that went to Penn State was Kerry Collins.
For sure.
I mean, you're talking about 94. Talking about 30 years ago. That was the last. Like, Hackenberg was drafted in the second round, stunk. McSorley was not an NFL quarterback. Michael Robinson, ends up playing fullback. Darryl Clark was not an NFL quarterback. Drew Aller is going to be the first one to break that trend.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because Will Levis, so I'll be curious to see what ends up happening to him after that. But
anyway. So I guess you see. I almost look at him like he transferred. He's a Kentucky guy. He went to Kentucky, had a good year, gets drafted. So to me, I almost don't even count him in the fold because he didn't even win the starting job at Penn State.
Yeah, you're right. All right. Shout out to everybody watching live on YouTube. We're live, local and late breaking every morning at 8 a.m., 8 to 9 a.m., Philly with John Marks. Make sure you watch live, but if you can't, perfectly acceptable. Just make sure you're clicking on the link, watching whenever you want to. Like, subscribe, comment on the episode. We appreciate your comments. Thank you very much. Get involved in the program. And if you say like, hey, well, I didn't get a chance, I wasn't around on YouTube today or whatever, the audio-only podcast is available for download. You can listen every day. Wherever you get your podcast, search Philly with John Marks, PHLY. And rate, review, 5-star reviews are greatly appreciated. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow. Anthony is live right now. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, Sam.
We all silly like the mayor.